a.k.a. the Hoagland. Johnny, how are you today?
I'm good, Eddie. Good. It's good to see you, my brother from another mother, and it's always good to see everybody here. Thanks for joining us as usual this morning. And as usual on the opening call, our focus is really on seeking accurate context, always remembering risk management, and trying to remain patient in our trading. My early birds this morning, one time first in the room, Eddie's Bong, William Matrix. It's good to see everybody. Kanabiskan, good to see you. Command. We've got Matt, we've got Blue Ken, we've got Nick Nichols, we've got Adrian, we've got Roger, we've got JPL, we got Dan Trader, we got Yabbersmack, we got John Jones, Theo. Good morning, Theo. It's always a pleasure to see you, and it's always a pleasure to see all of you here. Thank you again for joining us.
Yes, indeed. Everybody's got a front row seat here at Topstep TV, so sit back, take notes, and participate. That's what I'm asking you to do today. Scout. U.S. futures. Yes, those things that we watch. Edge mostly higher today as investors assess a slew of corporate quarterly earnings and the climbing treasury yields. That's something that we've been talking about here recently. Dow contract was pretty much unchanged. S&P up 0.5%, and the NASDAQ jumped about 185 points to 0.9% better. Now, the main average sank yesterday with declines in mega cap tech stocks like NVIDIA and Apple in particular. Now, weighing on sentiment was a jump in U.S. Treasury yields to a 3-month high. And Coach Paul was mentioning this Monday that we should be watching this, and props to Coach Paul. So otherwise, analysts interpreted the uptick as a sign of markets starting to expect strong economic data and the upcoming U.S. presidential election, which is really taking part here in what we're seeing in the market moves. Also to persuade the Fed to roll off those interest rate cuts at a slower pace. In other news, Boeing, striking Boeing machinists have rejected a revised contract offer, extending the crippling labor action that is placing heavy pressure on Boeing and, of course, CEO Kelly Ortberg's plan to overhaul the jet's manufacturing ailing finances. More news here. Donald Trump has gained a slight advantage in the U.S. presidential race, with voters taking more of a positive view of his agenda and more of a negative stance on rival Kamala Harris. This is according to a national poll from the Wall Street Journal. Trump is leading by 2 percentage points, 47 to 45. Wall Street Journal survey 1,500 registered voters, October 19th to the 22nd. And remember, the margin of error puts the two candidates neck and neck. So remember, go out and vote. This is your duty as a U.S. citizen of the United States. And Johnny, what do you got for us today?
Well, as far as economic numbers, and yes, of course, everybody, please go out and vote. Make sure your voice is heard. As far as economic numbers this morning, we had the jobless claims this morning. They were looking for them to maintain pretty much around 241,000 in the previous week. They came out a little bit lower than that, 227,000. However, continuing jobless claims, which don't seem to mean as much, were a little bit higher. They were looking for 1.875 million. Came out 1,897,000. Chicago Fed National Activity Index came out a little lower than expected. They were looking for positive 0.5. That came out at negative 0.28. 745, we saw talking Fed was due to speak. Not really seeing much. They did have a couple of things to say. It is unreasonable to expect more disinflation. I think they're buying puts on that one. Just a few comments there from Fed's hammock this morning. We take a look at those maybe later on. But at 8:45, we've got the U.S. S&P manufacturing services and manufacturing service and the composite number, the composite PMIs at 8:45. 9 o'clock, new home sales, 9:30, nat gas inventories, 10 o'clock, Kansas City Fed Manufacturing Index and Composite Index. We've got 10:30, a 4-week bill auction. At noon, a 5-year TIPS auction. As far as earnings this morning and this afternoon, no majors, really. Union Pacific missing on both earnings per share and revenues. Honeywell beating on the earnings per share, missing on revenues. UPS beating on both, of course. A little bit of a surprise here. Northrop Grumman beating on earnings per share, but missing on revenues. VIX this morning, VIX dollar and the index, dollar index and the 10-year are all pretty much right where they were about this time yesterday. The yield on the 10-year was last time I checked was 4.22%. At this time yesterday, 4.24%. So nothing major as far as those are concerned. And that's what we're looking at today on economic numbers, at least known economic numbers. We never know what might pop up.
You never know. Well, how about the crude oil prices rising today? Rise after rebounding the previous session losses. We do see that the escalation is, in fact, part of the conflict in the Middle East, and it could impact even more supplies in the key region. We do see a high here, my ETH, 72.34. We hit that not too long ago, but the low of the day, low of the ETA, 69.35. We did see Brent up 1.2%, WTI 1.4. Now, today, if you didn't catch the news here, Israel launched strikes on Syrian capital Damascus early today, according to a Syrian state media, threatening an expansion of the conflict in the region and growing anticipation of a strike against Iran in retaliation for the October 1st attacks. Oil prices nearly gained about 4% so far this week, helping trim last week's losses of about 7% on the worries about the Chinese demand, easing concerns about potential disruptions, obviously by the fighting in the Middle East. Yes, and that is what we've got here so far. James, do you have the tip of the week? There it comes. I can feel it. There it is. There it is. Tip of the week, take breaks. All right. Now, we are traders. We want to see success. And some of us are constantly analyzing the market. We can't analyze it enough. And this is what they call the paralysis by analysis. This is where traders overthink their trades, fail to execute their strategies in the right frame of mind. So take a break. The brain time needs to reset and avoid overcomplicating decisions. So overanalyzing every small little market can move to unnecessary stress. We hate stress. You don't want stress in this business. So stepping back periodically allows you, the trader, to regain perspective. Trust me on this one. Johnny, what do you got?
Well, after being in the industry for 40 years and over 30 years as an active trader, I love this business. It's a love-hate thing sometimes. Sometimes things don't go so well, but just the ability to get into the markets and to be able to profit and to be able to understand a little bit about what these markets are doing and what the auction process means is something I'm very passionate about. And it's something that I've been passionate about for a long time. But there's a lot of very passionate people out there that there are, there's athletes, there's musicians, there's all kinds of professions, even doctors, lawyers. Everybody needs to take a break. I think I'm coming around to a needing to take a little bit of a break. Maybe in the next week or two, I might take a day or two off just to kind of rest up, recoup, read, review, and revise, and then come back even stronger. So just remember, as passionate as we are about trading, it is very necessary to make sure you're rested, ready, and raring to go. So a little rest never hurt anybody.
Giddy up, you MNFers. All right. Yes. Rest. Take a break. Hey, remember I mentioned that word scouting? Scouting. Well, today is the first day of scouting for our next Topstep VIP teams. And we're going to be kicking it off in January. We're looking for our Bell-to-Beller viewers. Remember, between now and January, we're going to be dropping a lot of these check-in forms, right? Randomly, pop, 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 pop. We're not going to tell you when. It's going to be random. So those that check in the most on Topstep TV will have the highest chances of getting a VIP seat. right? So when you check in, it's almost like a raffle ticket. Boom, put another one in, put another one in. So look out later this morning, today for our first check-in form drop. Also, Aaron Ellis. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Funded trader and Traders Canada reality TV star Aaron Ellis is joining us later this morning, 11 a.m. Central Time. We got the graphic for that. If we can pop that up, there it is. And also going to be joining us here for Fast Markets. We've got the knowledgeable and wonderful Anne-Marie. Made 317 in the training combine yesterday. Also, Coach Jay. Yes, Coach Jay. Everybody loves Coach Jay. Star at the buzzer, coach of the Lunatics VIP team, made $354 in XFA yesterday. So that is what we've got. And Johnny, I think that's it. If we can get to our charts, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Let's do it.
All right. Starting, as always, with the daily in the E-mini S&P. As I always like to go with pretty much a top-down approach on this. So what did we do yesterday? We had a nice little pullback. We really kind of broke out below kind of a 7 or 8 day range, and we really had some decent downside momentum, some decent downside participation, price action, if you will, on the way down. But we also lost open interest. Instead of seeing new selling coming into this market, all this did was liquidate longs. Okay, so it's not like this pullback really had any teeth to it. And boy, it sure looked like it yesterday. But with the loss in open interest, again, it's not new selling. It's not traders or longer time frame traders barreling into the short side. All they did was lighten up some longs yesterday. Of course, volume was going to be stronger. It was a down day yesterday. It was an emotional downside move yesterday. And by emotional, you can just kind of see it with little price bar overlap. There were a lot of single prints that were left on the way down that kind of got recovered on the way back up. And when I look at this on the daily chart, all I see on yesterday's daily bar is excess. The auction pushed a lot lower yesterday, but it rejected those levels. Sellers backed off. Buyers came in, brought us back above the weekly kickoff low here, and it seems as though we're now back inside the area of balance. Looking at what happened yesterday, technically that looks like a failed breakout of balance. Now we're back inside balance. I'll be looking for the market to potentially rotate back to the high end of balance. Statistically, that's what happens when you fail a breakout on one extreme. The market is going to go and test the upper extreme. We don't know this for sure, just again trying to put this in some sort of context. So as long as we hold last week's low today, which is 58.50, we've been talking about that number a lot lately, I can see this market just continuing to rotate higher without the advent of any bad news. Anything can happen, of course. We're back inside balance. I'll be looking for a test of the upper extreme of balance. What is that for here on the 30-minute chart? All right. So we had some shorter time frame levels, and we were saying yesterday that the market was really in short time frame control. And most of those short time frame levels really just kind of got walked through yesterday. We've got this past spike base that's coming off the screen. That's coming off. An afternoon pullback low. That's coming off now too. Well, however, we did come into a shorter time frame level near a late spike base and an afternoon pullback low near the lows from yesterday when the market really just ran out of selling. Buying came in, and we recovered a lot of the single TPOs. Just the emotional toothy profile from the day yesterday. We did see a V recovery, and we've been seeing V-shaped recoveries quite a bit in the equities lately. And if we're looking for pattern recognition, that might be one of them. Overnight inventory is long. We've got some single TPOs or single prints down here. Those single prints, I thought I wrote them down here somewhere. I thought I did. Where are they? Maybe not. Well, we'll just take a look here. So we have single prints left here in the S&Ps, and just a couple of them, 58, 56 half to 58, 58 even. Not a lot right up here. Well, this was the early balance. Then another balance came in, and then another balance came in down here. As long as we hold above those single TPOs at those levels I just mentioned, let's just call it 58, 58. As long as we hold above, I don't see this market falling into any kind of repair. There was a very emotional, toothy profile yesterday. And if we don't leave this area relatively quickly, the market just may come back in, see if there's any business left to do in those little holes here in the profile from yesterday. Overnight inventory is long, so we already see that the shorter time frame traders are looking for some continuation to the upside in regular trading hours. They don't get what they're looking for. A move back down towards settlement, back down towards where the market opened last night, which is basically 58.45 half to 58.43 half. That's the first 3-minute bar. We get that opportunity. It could be a decent opportunity for some sort of an execution down at that level. But again, that would pretty much take care of any repair that needs to be taken care of in the profile from yesterday. And the TPO profile yesterday, it was a trend day to the downside, very emotional, lots of holes, lots of, you could call those value area gaps, or what are they called? Fair value gaps. That's what I'm looking for. Lots of that kind of left down there, which might actually be weaker structure, but we'll see how this market opens up. Looking like we're going to be opening above value, but in range. We've got some great people to trade this morning with Anne Marie, Coach Jay, and we had Coach Ray popping in as well. So we'll see what these markets look like then. Here's the NASDAQ. So daily chart. Again, the market really didn't lose any upside structure here. It's still putting in higher lows, higher highs to this point. We had a pretty deep push to the downside, lots of good price action, lots of fear, lots of emotion on that big move to the downside. But as happens quite a bit with the equities, another V-shaped recovery brings us back basically inside last week's range, back towards weekly kickoff high. Sellers really backed off yesterday. Buyers just took over. And now I'm looking for the market to rotate, perhaps back to an upper area of the current balance that we failed to break out of yesterday. One difference, we added 1,800 in open interest. No big deal. That's a relatively inert number. Maybe we did trap some shorts down in the hole here, and they're currently they're hurting right now. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Real overnight inventory is long, largely in range and in value. Overnight high right up near last week's low, it looks like. Oh, no, that's an afternoon pullback. Low from Monday? What day is today? That's from Tuesday. Afternoon pullback low from Tuesday. Started the break to the downside. We're right back to where we really started to kind of see this market looking lower yesterday. And so far, that's been a little bit resistant. This afternoon pullback low here from Tuesday, Wednesday. Today is Thursday, correct? Yes, it is. Overnight inventory long. If we can push price above that, I would look for that to attract more buyers, perhaps some longer time frame buyers, so that our overnight inventory can continue to get paid. But this afternoon pullback low, and that level is 20,425 quarter, might be an interesting level for us to look for an opportunity early in the session today. And again, the profile yesterday, very toothy, very emotional, trend day to the downside, again, with a V-shaped recovery that on that daily chart looks like an excess low. How do auctions die? They die in excess. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. So we started the week by holding this trend line. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of contact on it. Yesterday was a bit of a rest day, I would call it. We did add 13,000 in open interest yesterday, which still might be sort of a function of rollover if there were still some people rolling over by legging out of one contract and then waiting and then re-putting the position on in a future month. We had that increase in open interest, low volume yesterday, which makes sense. Pretty much an inside extended trading hour range. Lack of direction yesterday. Remember, this is a very news sensitive market. It is on a hair trigger for any news related to any escalations overseas. Or, hey, wouldn't it be great if all of a sudden peace broke out? Wouldn't that be nice? Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. We've been 1, 2, now 3 days inside this previous gap that comes all the way back to the 14th of October. I just like to leave it on there until it gets fully filled. The low yesterday, the low end of that gap. The low Tuesday, the low end of that gap. Overnight inventory is long. It is now reconciled. We've opened and we started the day inside range and inside value from yesterday. We still have an unchecked naked point of control up here at 72.41. And to close the gap, we would have to bring price all the way up to 72.97. I have no idea if or when that is going to happen, but it's the market. I think the overnight had all the fun last night in crude oil because now we're right back in range, right close to value. Might make things a little, maybe be a little bit more patient this morning, looking for an opportunity in crude oil. It was kind of an inside day and extended trading hours, inside session yesterday, inside the previous day's session. And we've opened now inside yesterday's session, regular trading hour session. Who knows what's going to happen. I'm really kind of feeling like this market is more short time frame controlled than longer time frame controlled as people await new information. Take a quick look at gold now. See if we can get the gold back to the upside here this morning, and it certainly looks like it is attempting to do so. Weekly kickoff high 72.60. We closed below it on Tuesday. We looked above it on Wednesday. We saw some sellers come in, decent volume. What did open interest do? Open interest lost 7,500 approximate contracts. This was long liquidation, ladies and gentlemen. It was not new sellers. It was nothing but some longs, probably taking some profits near an important inflection level. Market seems to be now in a fourth day or a third day, you could say, in an area of balance. We're going to bounce back and forth between this area of balance until we either break out for a bigger pullback or we break out for more continuation to the upside. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do want to say that there is a low probability of the all-time high, which occurred night before last in the extended trading hour session. Overnight all-time highs, recent highs, overnight all-time lows, recent lows that occur in the extended trading hours. And in other words, not during the regular trading hour session. They do not tend to be lasting highs or lows. So I'm kind of gunning for a new all-time high. I don't know when. I don't know what's going to happen today. But they tend not to be lasting highs or lows when they happen in the overnight session. Overnight inventory is pretty long here. We've been seeing some overnight inventory adjustments. We did not see one, however, on Tuesday. We did not need one, really, I think, on yesterday. But we did pull back to these levels. Here's an overnight inventory that pulled us right back to settlement. Nothing here as far as coming back to settlement. And we got a lot of longs in this market. Watch and see what happens at weekly kickoff high. I can't predict, but I believe from the context of this market and the things we've been seeing in volume, open interest, in Delta, that there's going to be some air horns coming soon again for gold. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you take your deep breath before you get involved in trading today. Stay humble, grateful, creative, and centered, and always pray for peace. And vote, folks. Make sure you vote.
Yes, yes, of course. Coming up here, don't go away. Andre, Hogue, Anne-Marie, Coach Jay, Coach Ray. Coming up for Fast Markets. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. As talk in the green room, get your chili ready without a spoon
Oh my
in the
gosh.
gates, which makes no sense whatsoever.
What are you doing,
And,
Eddie?
I do believe we are open.
We sure are, Eddie. Did not expect that one. Welcome, everybody, to Topstep TV. This is Fast Markets. We got Anne-Marie in the house. We got Coach Jay. We got Hogue in the house. Hogue, we are open. I just heard that opening bell. Let's take a look at the ES and the NASDAQ. What do we got, Hogue?
Well, here's the NASDAQ. Yesterday's very emotional and toothy profile. Last night's kind of emotional and toothy profile. The market has opened. It's left the opening range at the high of the session. That's that first minute. It's looking like more like we're going to see some repair from the overnight session profiles and perhaps some of the profile from yesterday. Again, that very toothy, lots of kind of weak areas, lots of single TPOs that got kind of filled on the way back up. I'm looking for a place to buy this, but I'm looking also at the idea that we do have some pretty considerable overnight longs. Those overnight longs are already offering us better trade locations if we're looking for longs. Not sure where to find it just yet. There's a lot of kind of backfill available in the profile from yesterday. I'm going to try and stay patient. We've opened in range. We've opened in value. However, we have left the opening range again, Andre, at the upper extreme in the S&P and in the NASDAQ. We're taking a quick look at the profiles in the S&Ps. Very similar situation. We were looking at these single TPOs here as somewhat pivotal. Now, we've opened at them and we're driving lower, indicating that we're probably going to try and come and see if there's any business left to do in these low volume, low time areas in the profile from yesterday, and possible repair of the overnight profile, which really has 3 distributions of time and volume. Remember, the overnight session does not have a lot of volume. The market is probably focusing on more on levels that were really kind of run through and never really tested in the profile from yesterday, which started out as a pretty strong trend day to the downside. Looking at the daily charts, Anne Marie, what do we always say about how auctions die? They die in excess. Excess low on the daily chart here in the S&P, as we can see over and over again how excess on a daily chart indicates a potential change in direction. We've seen so many V-shaped recoveries in the daytime frame today. We'll see what happens today. I'm staying patient, looking for some good opportunities and some good ideas from our expert traders with us here today. Andre?
Yeah.
We're right back down to weekly kickoff low here in the NASDAQ.
Here we are. Last trade, 20,336. Anne Marie, hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. I feel like a claymation puppet right now because my audio and video is bananas. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Fritz.
You look smooth here.
I know.
As always, looking wonderful.
Coming in great. What are your thoughts on the markets, Anne Marie? Focusing, that's where auctions go to die is excess. What are we seeing here in the markets from your point of view, Anne Marie?
Well, I'd love to see one of those big excess wicks. I think it would be fantastic. We get ourselves some movement. Dee and I were on yesterday together, and we staged out this gold short, absolutely fantastic. It went all the way to that area that I think Hogue and Dakota were thinking about buying at around 27.27, maybe sometime last week. Came right back in. So I've got a few charts I'm looking at today because I definitely want to take advantage of some motion anyway.
Right, excellent. Jay came in here in the green room, said I was short from, what were you short from, 420 or something in the NASDAQ?
20,420.
20,420. We're trading 320s. Jay, tell me you're still short.
Nice.
I'm not still short. I took it off before the open. I usually don't hold trades into the open. So if it gives me what I'm looking for prior to, I was looking for 360 as a target. I didn't get it before the open, so I took the trade off. But yeah, was a really nice short if anyone was still in it. I am looking for a place to potentially buy this as well. But for right now, not seeing too much of a trade setup. Maybe the ES, Hogue, I know you said you were looking for a place to buy it. I was looking for maybe a push into 45s, if not into settlement. I don't know if we're going to get 45s now. Looks like, but that'd be the first place I was looking to buy in the ES.
We gotta let that overnight inventory exhaust itself and look for the spot to buy it then.
Exactly.
Sounds good. All right, my man Eddie just warned me. Hey, we got something coming out in 10 minutes. Eddie, what do we got coming out in 10 minutes? I see a few things on the calendar, but what are you seeing over there, Eddie?
Yes, we've got here coming up here in about 9 minutes now. My God, man, S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing here. The PMI coming up here. These are pretty big numbers there, kids. So let's keep an eye on that. Also, in about a little over 20 minutes, new home sales will be hitting the wire. We do have a natural gas storage in less than an hour. Coming up at 10 o'clock today, a.m. Central Time, KC Fed Composite, the manufacturing index, also minor numbers, but I just want to let you know about it. And also 10:30 here for week 8-week bill auction. We got a 12 o'clock high noon 5-year tips auction. And we'll keep an eye on what's going on the rest of the day here, a little later on in the evening here, Fed's balance sheet. But otherwise, that's what we got here. Eye on the prize. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Eddie. In about 9 minutes, we got that number coming out. We'll be sure to get that to you once it hits the wire. Right now, of course, we got Anne-Marie, Coach Jay, Hogue in the house. We saw some selling come in here, Jay. Is just waiting
Yeah,
to
we
see
did.
right now.
For right now, because that was just a pretty quick move. I want to see if these sellers can continue this, because there's a lot of room to the downside as well in this market. So I know we have a number coming out soon. I did frame out the jobless claims print that we had, Hogue, and the low of that jobless claims number is 5861. So if we did get long, I'd be looking at that as a conservative target to start. VWAP anchored to that news candle has already left the range to the downside, and that VWAP is sitting at 58.56. So those are two areas where if we do get long, 58.56 first, and then 58.60, where we would have to watch the market reaction, because if we don't get above those, sellers are still in control.
58.56. Okay. 58.49 last trade in the ES. Now you're saying you want to see how we react to 58.56, Jay?
Yeah.
We want to get long 56. We can get long 49s right now.
Yeah, I know.
maybe I'm being an idiot. But maybe I'm being an idiot. I'm not trying to be an idiot.
No, you're not. You're not. No. You could get long 49s right now and risk the low of the opening range, and trade back up to 56.
I got you.
Definitely a trade. And
fair enough. I wasn't trying to be an idiot. I wasn't trying to be an idiot. I was
no. Andre, someone had said in the chat today, Andre, they were just like, Andre never trades, but if people actually paid attention to what they say, what he says, there's a ton of great information. I don't know if you guys realize that. Andre knows what he's talking about. He's not taking trades on the show, but a man knows what's going on.
A little, a thing or two, perhaps. But yes, I get to trade the reversal challenge, so there's that. Yeah, I'll leave the trade to the pros, washed up at this point. But yes, we'll see what we can do. Moving here forward, we got that number in 6 minutes. Anne Marie, I want to get your thoughts on yesterday. Was it a big sell off in the equities? Apple, the 10-year yields. What do you think contributed to that? Just never stop.
I think big traders are just closing positions into liquidity. They're using that upward drive into, and taking some profits. We do have this thing coming up in about 10 days, this, event. We get the day off and we go and stick our thing in a slot there and say, here's what we'd like to vote for. And I think people are saying, hey, I think I'm going to ring the register, and they're using liquidity to do it. And it's not only in the futures. Ooh, I see that.
Yeah,
I'm hoping for settlement.
I think we're seeing some buy ice orders down around 48.5, 48 quarter, 48 even. A lot of negative delta there, and that's where all the volume is as well.
5 minutes remaining.
Squeeze. And what price you get, Jay?
50s, which I hate because it's an even number, but I'm on 58.50. I'm risking 4 points on this, and my target is 56.
56. Okay.
You know what? I think we're going to join you on this. We're long 58.50 and 3/4. We're risking the low of the day.
Crude tilt 72%.
Oh man, Eddie,
71% in the money with an average price of 71.32. Looking good there for those 70%.
No,
Eddie, did we see some tilts yesterday or what, man?
The only thing that worries me about this is opening range is the high of the day.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hogue. Looking for a trade back into the opening range. The volume is kind of flat in the middle of it, so I'm treating it like a range-bound trade. And I've admitted on this show a couple of times that I'm not the greatest range-bound trader. I'm trying to add this to my arsenal, but the one thing I'm going to do is not risk a whole lot on this trade if it wants to continue to sell.
And I don't think we have to. We've got those icebergs down there. If those give way and we put in a new session low here, we're out.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, slow.
And the target?
56.
6,000.
Yeah, man. That would be so sick. Turn around everything.
All right, so we're trying this long here. Let me watch these icebergs here, see if they keep sticking in here. Yes, there's still a little bit of iceberging down at these lows. A little bit of iceberging, about 2,000, maybe 15, 17, 1,800, 2,000 in there somewhere. Buyer's still coming in down there. Buyer's still coming in down there. Go stay. Well, we might be in good shape. If Elvis leaves the building, however, we may be out. Come on, Elvis.
And,
sing us a song.
Emery, did you listen to Elvis? Are you an Elvis fan?
No.
No?
I mean, I can appreciate him. I can appreciate him. I mean, he was something, certainly, in the day.
He was a big deal. He was a big deal, that's for certain.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we get a push here. Jay's long, house account's long in the ES 5850. I think we bought 5850s yesterday as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we've been hearing that number a lot.
Yes, we have. Well, yes, Eddie, I wanted to say, if you remember yesterday, heavy long tilts in the ES and NQ as we just continue to go lower. We saw the tilts get up to 70, 75, almost 80%. It was just bear flag after bear flag after bear flag, like Jay pointed out yesterday. And it's just selling to them. Just continue to go lower. So we got this
completely agreeing. We're seeing this 76% here better in crude. Crude right now is sort of the one sort of skewing it.
Hey, you're still
got
in.
Us. Still in? In, out?
My stop was at 45, but yeah, I think I'm going to take this off.
Yeah, I have an order waiting down near settlement.
Near settlement. I think that's probably the better play, Emery. If this is going to stay heavy, and we do have news coming out.
Oh,
yeah.
Who ever. We also have our first VIP check-in. We also have our first VIP check-in later today, folks. First VIP check-in later today. That's all I'm going to say. All right, we got this 500 lot here, 58.52 in the S&Ps. They're just going to keep this increase this number. Everything else is getting very, very thin.
Is that stop because of your 3-minute opening bar at 5 o'clock last night?
It was, yeah. I think I originally said 46, and then I pulled it down a point because of that level, that 3-minute opening range from last night. This is probably
about 10 seconds here on the number.
Hit us.
Yeah, let us know about that. I did put that on my chart. I thought about doing that, but that was a good call.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, we've got our service PMI flash coming in at 55.3. They were looking at just a plain old 55, prior 55.2. U.S. manufacturing PMI flash 47.8. They were looking at a 47.5. And the composite PMI flash 54.3. They were looking at a 53.8. And that is what I've got. Heads up, 9 o'clock, top of the hour. New home sales. Back to you, Andre.
How many new homes were sold last month? All right, so nothing. We got that 500 lot here. Keep an eye on that 500 lot at, now it's a 700 lot, 58.52. 58.52. Last trade, 58.44. Start to see some sellers go. And, yep.
Opening range, the high of the day, man. You really got to be patient looking for longs when that happens.
For sure. So what do we think of this floor that could be setting up in gold?
Ooh.
Let's use a 30-minute chart here.
Gold pretty much here in the
see there, John?
There's a lot of overnight inventory to the long side that might be starting to get a little bit nervous. What do you think about VWAP? 27.45.75. The
45-ish.
overnight.
Plus, there's some pretty good support there. Yep.
You got a couple of moving averages just below that.
Yeah, we also had that low volume node at 27.43 in that area right here.
Yeah.
27.43. We might need to wait for it to get there before, popping a limit order in. And here comes the ES down into a nearby settlement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit of repair going on.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure.
Pin to the top of the chat. You got the Topstep daily levels up. You see Coach Jay. You'll see you'll see Hoag's levels on there. I got them up at all times. We'll be referring to them throughout the day. You can also put them on top of your charts if you like. But yeah, Topstep daily levels pinned to the top of the chat. Also, you got in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, hashtag Fast Markets. You can use hashtag Power Hour as well. Just up at Topstep TV on X. Also, give us a follow. Topstep TV at Topstep TV as well. I think we I see 1,600 followers already, Dolby. Quick. Up and to the right, baby. Yes. Hashtag Power Hour, hashtag Fast Markets at Topstep TV. 75% long.
Also, if we're staring down crude, particularly, so something very interesting happened today. France sent a bunch of troops to help Lebanon. So you might think about, well, why is that interesting? Well, who they're actually helping is Hezbollah, and it's in retaliation to an Israeli strike. And so that could make the water just a wee bit muddy from a UN perspective.
Interesting.
Not sure what's going on there, but truth be known, the UN has been very much anti-Israel, so it might not put any kind of trouble into anything, but it's very interesting that, it's just sort of like a side note. Oh yes, and by the way, France sent in troops to assist the Lebanese troops, which are Hezbollah, on account of what's going on. So that's something to keep an eye on. And I think if we get up over 71 again, so we're up over 71, but we're sort of dancing around yesterday's settlement. So if we could get some sort of liquidity flush down into that 70.70, we might have ourselves a pretty nice oil bounce. So there are
71.
quite a few things showing up here. And are you saying that the tilt is still very long, the CL?
We're seeing 75%.
75.
Long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In crude. Average price, $71.
It might come back and give us our it might come back and give us that fade. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Oh, and everything's sort of coming into these levels that we've been staring down. So it'll be interesting to see if they can catch a bid down there. What's the ladder say?
Yes. Hogue, that 800 lot got pulled at 58.52. That's no longer there. It's very thin. Very thin. Some of the algos haven't turned back on.
Yeah,
it's 20 up. It's 20 up bid ask in S&Ps right now. I can only imagine what it's looking like in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, it's pretty thin in the NASDAQ too.
Okay.
Onesie, twosie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks...
Onesie, twosie. We got to get this news.
Markets are nervous.
Yeah.
Does this feel that way, Hogue? Anne Marie's, are you feeling, it feels uncertain.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that because of yesterday? Is yesterday what kind of sent some jitters into the markets? Yesterday was just sell. And I can't imagine it's just that analyst, but the Apple iPhones, 10 million units less or whatever. It's more
I think that was just, I think it was just a coincidence of, hey, we've been running up. We've had 6 up weeks in a row.
There you go.
We tried to break the new highs early in the week, and we didn't. So I think folks are just saying, you know what, I'm going to ring the register. I mean, I'm always looking for the simplest answer.
I love it. Take some profits, cash in, keep the powder dry. Adam M asked, do you think yesterday saw anything to do with North Korean troops in Russia? I think that's kind of what Anne Marie's alluding to. It's just the whole combination of it.
Yeah.
Of a lot of uncertainty right now.
For sure.
So,
yeah, which is never good.
Gold selling off here, about $13 off the highs.
Yeah,
perfect. Anne Marie, why is that perfect?
What I'd like to see it do, if I were patient enough to hold on after staring this down, I'd like to see it come back into settlement and see if we can form a bottom there with a 3-bar reversal. I think that would be a very nice sweet spot.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Yes, that would be the wish trade.
Oh. Yes. Were you just in my brain?
Yeah,
you just in my head?
We were talking about it with Muhammad last week, and I thought, that is a good one. I got to remember that. The wish trade.
The wishing order? Yep.
Yeah, the wishing order.
I was down there walking around the floor with my dad, and he'd have a position on, and he'd say, well, let's go to lunch. We go over to the corn pit or whatever and give a broker an order and say, if it gets here, sell me 2. And he'd say, hey, my wishing order got filled.
Oh, love it.
Just paid for lunch. Yeah. Well, we did see some buyers step in here in the NQ. Again, we got another number in 7 minutes, but we bottomed out at 20,300, well, 296, or called 300s. Popped back up to 20,330.
Whose chart is this?
That looks like a Coach J.
That's mine. That's mine, Anne-Marie.
Great.
There's a bunch of drawings on it.
Tell me about the boxes.
Okay, so we have a couple different ones. This red one is yesterday's opening range, that 30-minute opening range that we stayed in for a very long time. We can see on the news, we tested into that, right? We had the jobless claims. We tested into this, couldn't accept price, rejected off of it. This one up here is this morning's news, and the red line is VWAP attached to it. We can see volume leaving that range as well as price. So sellers still in control. And then this one here is today's 3-minute opening range, where VWAP is a flat line and price is kind of just bouncing around in this range.
Yeah.
The last one down here is last night's 30-minute opening range.
The Globex?
And got it. Yeah, Globex 30-minute opening range where we just bounced and got a 30-point bounce from there.
Yeah. Oh, look at that bounce. Dang. Pretty.
Yes.
5 minutes remaining.
Crude pushing lower here, 71.03 last trade. Crude and gold moving to the downside.
Someone asked the question, how do I keep track of what each of these boxes are? I do the same thing every day. So, and the reason I manually, colors, and the reason I manually put them on is because I know I put it there, right? If it was just an indicator that automatically put a line, then I would have to, in my opinion, guess
what
it
was
is.
that again?
Right, if I drew it. Emery, you were looking for a trade in crude? Or gold?
I am. I want to see. I want to see a fade. I want to see a fade down into this. See this trend line we've got going on right here? I want to see it come down into settlement, shake around there. I'm going to collapse into a 5 minute once it gets closer and see if I can see what's going on. Right now, I mean, it could have a little bit of a dip, but I do like the longs, and that's unusual for me because I will normally be looking for shorts in oil. I think buying down near 68, 69 is great. Up here near 71, 72, it gets a little messy. But if we break out over this 71.70 and we stay there, easily we get to 76, 77, maybe even 80 before it turns around again. I don't think they're going to let it get past 80. I don't think they're going to let it get past 80 at all.
Who's they? Anne-Marie? The market? Or the...
Hang on, let me get my tinfoil hat.
I'm with you. I know who they is. I want to hear it. I want to know who you think they is.
Yeah. So I don't think either party wants oil to be expensive. I mean, nobody wants oil to be expensive. And so, I think there's enough concerted effort to not send people into a tailspin. And that would very likely do it. So I think they're going to try and keep it down.
All right. 2 minutes left. New home sales, Eddie. Gold here. Gold did see some buyers, about a couple dollar pop there last trade, 27.45. It's just kind of wait and see mode again. Today we got our first VIP check-in, if you want to call it. I can say exactly what it is. Scouting check-in. First, you got to get scouted before you get drafted. Whether it be the NBA or the NFL. Well, same here at Topstep. Put your name. You guys.
Weekly kickoff low in the NASDAQ. 308. We're about 10 points through that and seeing a pretty decent bounce off of that.
Hogue, if we test it again, would you take that trade a second time?
It's cheap. Although, I mean, we're still holding the opening range at the high of the day. We're below VWAP. We're below the regular session VWAP. But some of the best trades are the ones that scare you the most.
Oh yeah.
1 minute.
1 minute. Oh man, trading strategies. The chat says bump up those likes, Andre. I agree. Click like, click subscribe. Yeah. Still stuck on 125,000 subscribers. Come on.
What?
Thursday. It's Thursday.
What's going on?
I don't know. We're running out of subscribers. Where are the subscribers out there? Please click like. Please click subscribe. Yeah, we got
they put a sign outside the Jewel. Hey, go to this site and subscribe.
Do it. Fly a plane over.
The supermarket.
Supermarket.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
You know what a Jewel is? Anne-Marie, do you know what Jewel is?
I lived in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 5 years.
I didn't know that. Did you really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Cool. Here we go. Albertsons down in Florida.
Here we go, Eddie.
What's that? Albertsons? No, no Albertsons.
New home sales change month over month. They were looking at a 0.6%, coming in at 4.1%. So that was pretty skewed. New home sale units. They were looking at 72,000, coming in at 738. So there you have it. U.S. new home sales coming up here in about a half an hour. Natural gas, and keep an eye on that. Back to you, Andre.
Wow.
I guess they're not getting paid for accuracy.
They sure aren't.
That's a terrible estimate compared to how they, that's way over.
Much better than expected.
Yeah.
They're like weathermen.
Actual 4.
Well, here's something, Anne-Marie. Prior was negative 4.7%.
Just a massive swing.
Interesting.
Negative 4.7 to 4.1 positive.
All righty. I believe that's good news for housing market. New home sales.
Yeah.
4.6%. Markets just kind of shrugged that one off. Thanks, Gabe.
Yes,
all right.
indeed.
Well, we got to click subscribe. We're like less than 10 subscribers away from 126,000. Still, get there. Creeping higher here, Jay. 58.50, 58.50. If we want to buy those 50s again, Jay, this is our chance.
They're right there, right?
Yes, they are.
This looks good. I mean, we could get right back in pretty much the same trade. And 56 would be that target. Big order just got filled in the ES.
What you got?
At 58, 51. If we can look at Tom and Sales, it's about a 200 lot that just got filled there. It's about 1,500 contracts that just traded in a couple seconds. Right at that VWAP from the news. So let's see. Still no clear direction on this.
I know.
Since we started the New York session.
I think you're trying to push this thing higher.
Both back inside the opening range here. Let's take a look at the Mag 7 here. Not getting any help from Apple, Alphabet, or NVIDIA at the time, but I think we're getting probably some help from Tesla, and we are.
Yeah. Tesla out right now.
249.50.
Nice. About a strangle there. And so that's going to look good. Let's take care of that.
Tried to.
Yep.
Trying to push above VWAP here in the ES. Last trade 50 at 56. We're above it now. VWAP is 54.
Mm-hmm.
These more gas. These
right
more
at the high of the opening range now.
I would think that feels a lot like a short.
Mm-hmm.
Up there.
NASDAQ took it out by just a
Tesla.
few ticks.
Mentioned Tesla with the better than projected third quarter profits, increasing by 8% compared to a year ago, to 2.5 billion, 2.1 billion. So, yeah, Tesla might be the big eye to watch here.
After Elon's robot party, here we are. Lo and behold,
yeah,
It's recovered.
Yes, it has. You don't say. A robot parties that work down 10%. I mean, come on. Should never have sold off that much because of just some robots dancing around.
It could be a short squeeze that's pushing Tesla. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going on in there.
Crude pushing 71.08. They just got
short.
Gosh,
There's
Amber.
your short,
Unreal. That's smushed.
P 76% long in the tilt here, 72% in the money. Average 58, 51, 28.
Longs just got
Yeah,
punched.
if I were short at that 57, I would be taking it I would be covering at 50. There's a lot going on there.
Absolutely worked there. Yikes.
These ladders are still very thin.
They really are, Hogue. ES especially. I mean, NASDAQ's been just normally ES just 20 up, 30 up.
Yes, our community's noticed that also. Seen a few of those comments. Very thin on the ladder.
The dome on TopstepX.
The ladder is.
Instead of having
Just a
dome.
ladder, man. Ladder. LADDER. Not TT. Ladder. DD.
Then we can forever put aside the argument whether it's dom or dome.
Exactly.
It's the ladder.
Exactly. It's the ladder. Holy smokes.
That's just peace right there. Take one argument away where that's peace.
Hey,
Ladder,
that's how we do it as parents. Stop arguing about whether you want X or Y because now Y is gone. So
there you go. Remove the option. I like that.
Yeah. Don't make me come back there.
51. We got tilt. Eddie, what do we see it up to? 70 some odd percent long?
Here, it's cooling off a little bit. S&P 62% long. Cooled off really quick here. NASDAQ 51% long. Right now, across the board, I mean, we're sitting on the fence basically here. 50-50 across the board. Crude,
very
gold,
sideways.
S&P. Now.
Very sideways.
Yeah.
Trade sideways. Jay?
Scanning around to see, if anything is really presenting an opportunity. If we look at yesterday, we consolidated for almost an hour and a half before we got a really nice move. So right now I'm just being patient, right? We took some trades in this range. They didn't work out. Could fade the extremes of the ranges, but we close in these prices. And if we do, I'm okay not taking a trade today because that's just trash price action to me. But looking for the eventual move out of this range to get be a part of that.
I agree. I definitely agree.
It is a big range though, so if you're a range bound trader, you got 50 points in the NASDAQ to trade. I'm okay.
Jay, it's starting out a lot like yesterday. I mean, yesterday the opening range was the high of the day in the S&Ps. The initial balance was just about the same as today's. And then once it broke out, all hell broke loose.
Yeah. Looking for something similar today. There's a lot of opportunity in that. I feel like I've had days like this where I trade this range looking for a trade, kind of hit a limit on the amount of trades that I want to take or hit a loss, and then the market does exactly what I was looking for it to do.
Exactly.
And then I'm not a part of it. So
yeah. Time to sit tight a wee bit.
20,000.
If you go looking for trades,
yeah,
you're gonna find them,
and they'll find you too. It's a two-way street. Those trades will find you. 20,337 last trade in the NQ. Again, it looks like the tilt did even out. Back in the 50-50 range. Anything under 60 to one side or other, I consider 50-50. YM, 42,654. $71.08 in the crude. Saw a bit of a sell-off in gold. I did hear Hogan opening call mention perhaps an outside shot. Gold making new or sounding off the air horns in gold. Outside shot, Hogue. Outside. I mean, a lot of energy, Hogue. But,
yeah, just because the all-time high was in the overnight session. It's usually not going to be a lasting high.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying now.
Overnight's been having all the fun lately, man.
Yeah, it has.
Quite a bit.
When the bars are open.
Yeah. That's true, Eddie. That's true. They get after it.
Don't drink and trade is all.
Don't drink and trade.
Don't drink.
Don't drive and trade. Don't text.
Hydrate. Trade. Yeah, you can hydrate. Hey, our very own Coach Vince in the chat, still holding his short S&P 58, 52.75, but it's struggling around the 58.50 level. Someone give it a push. Got to help Coach Vince here.
What's
Vince had that great trade in probably somewhere a lot lower. He had a great trade yesterday where he was short 58.71 and his target was 05.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. I'm curious to know what Coach Vince is looking at. Great eye for the market.
Nick
and a great
I know what he was looking
at.
That was where we were short and looking to hold on to it. And it lurched towards the high of the day. And we got nervous about it. So we pulled the trade. We were actually short there. And if we would have just left it alone, we would have been in clover. But that's where I saw that where Vince was short there. I think he got short again somewhere around 54, 55. Well, just below the initial balance much later in the session. Yeah, he accepted the risk on that trade. That's so important, Vince.
Yep.
Great job, Coach.
Is that one we cut early, Hogue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have a question. Did we accept the risk on that trade?
Obviously not.
We did not. Got out.
Nope. The risk was, I think we had it originally above 77. Oh, we got news.
Go ahead after this. I got something to share.
Oh yeah, no, the risk was above 77 and it made sense where it was. I believe it was above the opening range. We just didn't like what it looked like. And sometimes that happens.
3 points above it.
Right.
Hey, I just want to let everybody know, coming in less than 2 hours, funded trader here at Topstep and Traders Canada reality TV star Aaron Ellis will be joining us today at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Wow.
So stick around here. Back to you.
Fun. All right. Here comes oil. Okay. I am going to give it a go for a limit at 70.75. Just put it in there. See if it comes in. Gets me at 70.75. What's the risk? Probably 25 cents. I'm being a little cheap. I should.
What are you working here, Emery?
I should be trying to look at 70.90, 70.87.
Crude. She's been eyeing
That's
crude
heavy
all
congestion.
Yes.
She's been watching crude all morning. Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to leave it at that 70.80 and let it come in. See how it goes. They love running stops there. They love just smoking right through the traders and then turning it around and heading right back up. And so the target would really be about 71.50 if it holds. So
okay, working
there's
$70.80, 70.90 in crude.
Settlement right at 77.
77,
Yep.
77.
Yeah, just trying to sneak in just above settlement, but it's very sideways. So, and the POC just moved down. Rapicola. Dang it. All right. The
71,
POC moved down in the ES too, and the NQ. All right. Well, we'll see. Still have those just waiting around. And Vince is short, yes?
Vince
is short.
Vince.
Yep, short 52s.
Okay, so
58, 52.
We'll hang on to the settlement area. See if we can dance around there and.
Emery's looking.
I think gold's going to come in.
Emery's stocking crude right now. Last trading crude $70.97. Working the 90 bid.
I think the dollar might be affecting the markets just a wee bit, so I don't know what's going on with the dollar right now.
Let's take a look at the 10-year. Typically, the 10-year can tell us what the dollar is doing. I think Jack's going to be on here shortly. We'll ask him his thoughts on or 10-year rate. All right, I'm seeing 4.23%.
Yeah, I can start this now. They're framing.
Whoa,
we got
where'd you come
training
from?
on the box.
Where did you come from? Man.
We're at 4.23% right now in the 10-year yield, off a little bit from the highs yesterday of 4.24. Got a few stories to talk about today. We'll see if things are loaded up. First, antitrust. Did you know, Andre and crew?
Didn't know.
That about half of the S&P 500's market cap is currently under antitrust scrutiny.
Is that true?
Yeah, but
I did not know that.
Well,
I love the blacked out, not under investigation.
It means you're not important. Now,
there's
a huge
badge of honor.
There's a huge macro story here, which is basically you've seen the S&P 500 go to the moon. It's always the 500 best companies. And one of the ways you get to the top and make a lot of money and make your stock go up is by basically controlling the market, right? A lot of these companies, it's pretty undeniable that they at least had the monopolistic curious, we'll call it. But yes, if you look at what United Healthcare does or Google, Amazon, Apple, fair enough. So this is something that'll be interesting. Yeah, 43% of the market cap right there.
It's amazing.
It'd be interesting to see what percentage of buybacks sit in that group alone, because that's huge price manipulation right there.
Great question.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's massive. And of course, buybacks are a tax thing basically because people don't like paying taxes on dividends. So
Right.
S&P 500, baby, up and away.
Get long, yeah.
Next, yeah, another thing you can get long. Let's get long U.S. debt, not the actual bonds. The U.S. debt has recently. Let me take a look at this here.
What a chart! What a good-looking chart.
Set this right here.
Look at that.
Yeah, about 35.8 trillion. But this chart here shows the debt as a share of GDP, and we're close to crossing 100%.
Oh boy!
Now the good news is we've been there before. The bad news is that we were fighting wars in Europe and the Pacific.
Double two fronts.
Which we still kind of are now.
Which we still kind of. I should be laughing.
There was the big recent jump is due. The biggest sort of new factor is the increased interest payments on federal debt, which has gone up quite a bit. Now, the good news is we do have an election coming up, and you have the choice between two people who will both keep raising this number. So,
absolutely,
make your decision on whatever you want.
Who wants to spend?
Who vote?
Yeah. Did you see that statistic that said our interest payments were higher than what we spend on the military every year?
Yes, I 100% believe it.
Yeah.
This is why we love low rates.
Exactly.
How about we get a little bit nicer here for the last one here? Talk about goldfish. Goldfish crackers have renamed done a little niche thing where they're renaming them Chilean sea bass.
Who asked for that? Yeah, Ray. What is that? Yeah, who asked for that?
Appeal to adults? Who are these adults?
I eat a lot of goldfish now. I got a Costco membership and a 3-year-old.
I love goldfish.
I think this is what we would call a marketing ploy. It was just some of them. They didn't do it for all of them.
Chilean sea bass.
That's ridiculous.
Jack, I think you would eat a lot less goldfish if they were called Chilean sea bass crackers.
100%. I definitely would eat less. Who knows what the real name of the Chilean sea bass is?
It's the sawtooth or something like that. Patagonian
the Patagonia toothfish. Yeah.
Toothfish. That's not very appetizing. Not very appetizing.
I would eat.
Look at you.
Ugh. Chilean sea bass?
Well, that's like tilapia. I mean, they changed the name of that fish because it's a bottom feeder. Everybody likes tilapia.
Yeah,
that sounds delicious.
Or whatever.
That's a terrible fish to eat. Don't do it.
Emery, have you found any good food out there yet? Have you found an appetizing meal that...
I did find a few lovely restaurants. I did. I have been frequenting them. Yes. Not the buffet style. You just have to look a little bit. But I got to tell you, I love the Finns. They're such lovely people. They're so kind. Except this one guy was giving me the side eye because I was cheering for my son during one of the games, and he was cheering for the other team. And every time I went, yeah, he would give me the side eye. I'm like, you don't know who you're looking at. Just do it one more time, and it's on. Luckily, he didn't. Luckily, he didn't.
Gold selling here.
Yep. Oh, here comes oil. Click, click, click. 780 is where I'm sitting. I want to... Oh, no, I'm going to wait. Let it flush me. Also waiting on the buy at the bottom there in the ES.
What level would you be looking at in the ES, Emery?
Well, I have it near settlement, just underneath it, because there's a thin volume event there. But this opening formation that I watch between Globex 6 Eastern and 7 Eastern, base of it is 40. So I might leg in there, but
Okay.
I'm gonna sit and let it chomp its way through. See if the hungry hippo comes and eats those orders up.
Order filled.
Yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. Where did everyone go? What happened?
Oh, it looks like Andre just lost internet or something's going on there. I'm here. I'll be back on screen here in just a second.
Okay.
Here I am. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Welcome back, Hogue.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
So the next thing coming out is the EIA report, right?
Yes. No. The nat gas 930.
The nat gas
gas
report. Sorry.
Yes.
Ooh, oh, she's about to get filled. Oh, come on.
Order filled.
What are you?
Come on.
What are you doing, Henry?
Long oil, and it looked, I thought I had it at 70, 80, but
Ooh, settlement. I like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm just
Well,
going
we got a guest we got to get in here, and let's see
yeah.
what's going on here. We're going to bring in Coach Ray and see what's going on with the.
What's up, guys? We got to get Coach Ray out here. He's got a hard time. He's a school teacher. He's got to get back to work. Let's do this VIP update real quick. All right, let's pull up that leaderboard overview if we could, please.
It's the mentality hunters, right?
Mindset
Mindset. But close.
Mindset hunters. There you go. Mindset.
Hunters.
There you go.
Yes.
My bad. Sorry about that.
No worries. It happens.
We got that leaderboard overlay. Anyway, Coach Ray making some big moves on the board. A couple more passes in the training combine in the last week.
There he is.
Bumped his pass rate up to 35.2%, now leading in trading combine pass rate. Awesome job, Coach Ray. 6 traders currently trading in XFAs right now. Had another trader take a payout yesterday, $650. Total payouts, $4,477. Coach Ray is leading the pack in all categories at the moment. Nice job, Coach Ray. What's going on? What are you talking to your team about these days?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that I'm actually kind of surprised because we a few of the traders we're kind of struggling, and we've been kind of ramping things back a little bit and saying, okay, well, one thing we want to do for sure is we want to deleverage, right, as much as we can, right? We kind of roll back maybe to a single contract, maybe move back to some micros, and really focus in on our processes. So I'm actually quite impressed and quite surprised. I think probably Monique is probably holding us up here because all the others I think are kind of working their way back to profitability.
That's how. Yeah. If we pull up Coach Ray's top 5 leaderboard, we could walk through that real quick. You'll see exactly what Ray's talking about. There it is. Just like Ray said, Monique and top. Leading the pack, still up $1,600. Irene, who we just was the trader who just took a payout yesterday. We're going to talk more about her in a minute. And then Jeremy, Ashley, and Marco are really they're fighting to keep their head above water right now. But they're not out yet. That's for sure. They're still fighting.
Yes.
Winning trade percentages could use a little help, but for the most part, these aren't really bad numbers, These down days aren't huge.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah.
They're keeping their losers small if they're continuing to hold those positive balances.
That's exactly correct.
Well, I mean, like I said, the one thing that these guys are really good at is they understand when they're not trading well, and they're quick to take corrective action, right? And they seek advice on that front as soon as possible. So which is quite impressive because sometimes what often happens with folks is they press even harder, and these folks do not do that. They step back and try to figure out what's going on, and that shows a lot of maturity in their trading.
Order filled.
Yeah, absolutely. And one trader in particular I want to talk about before
Order
we get out of here,
filled.
Coach Ray. If we could pull up that trading card for Irene, please. Irene has been in this XFA for 6 days now, 6 trading days now. Only one losing day out of those 6, but it was $1,000 losing day. Biggest winning day was $620. Biggest losing day was $1,000. But Irene took a payout yesterday, $641 in Irene's pocket, making money off the
Nice.
VIP experience.
Excellent.
Love it.
So Irene is playing it right. Yeah, trading the Nasdaq and the crude oil, risk to reward, right in line with I think where it should be. Doing very good. Trading small, 8 trades per day, 29 contracts total per day. Ray, do you have any contact with Irene at all?
No, I think a lot of my traders are on opposite ends of the globe, so I have to kind of come up with kind of unique ways to get in contact, and Irene is certainly one of them. So no, I haven't had any direct contact, but I'm quite impressed with what she's been able to do, and hope she continues to do. Because I mean, the mindset hunters have high standards.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got about 1 minute here on natural gas. Just a heads up.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you,
As do
Eddie.
as do you, Coach Ray. Great job with the mindset hunters. Great stuff, man.
Thanks
Excellent job,
Ray,
Ray.
so much,
Yeah.
guys.
Great stuff,
All
right?
right, Ray. Get back to work.
Thanks,
All right.
Ray.
Will do. Take care.
Thanks, Ray.
Ray. Thank you, JD. Ray, not a fan of the goldfish name change at all. Going double thumbs down. Going double thumbs down. Not even one thumb. Double thumbs down. Chilean sea bass. Get out of here. Come on. Anyways, all right, back to these markets. Anne-Marie, you're working that 70. You're working that 90 bid in the crude. Did you get filled or did you pull it? Because we're really trading.
Yes, I'm in. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm in. I got in at what is that? 70, something like 70, 80? Something like that.
He says, ooh, nice little fill there. Plus 1.
80.
Yeah, so we'll
All right, we got our natural gas change here. They were looking at 66 billion cubic feet, prior 76 billion, coming in at 80 billion cubic feet. So that's our natural gas here for today. Coming up 10 o'clock, top of the hour, Kansas City Fed, composite and manufacturing. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you. Trader Don C says, yo, I'm from Chile, bro. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just not a fan of the name change. Amazing country. Not a fan of the name change. All right, we're pushing lower.
Yeah, Marie, can I give you a little bit of devil's advocate for you here on that long?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so here's crude oil. Here's the initial balance. We left the initial balance and we've opened the next 30-minute bar below the low of the initial balance. This is a short. Unless we can get back inside and reaccept the initial balance, we should be looking to the short side. So I know you're long right now, and I hope I'm wrong.
So I look for the bounce to get out.
This is what we were kind of looking at yesterday too. Yeah. So very similar to what we saw yesterday, mostly in the S&Ps, was once we left the opening range and we opened the next 30-minute bar below the initial balance, and in the S&Ps yesterday, that initial balance low was 58 even. Once we open the next 30-minute bar, if we can't get back inside the initial balance, it should be a short. Now, we were long, if you remember, yesterday, and we had a 5 lot on, and we had some pretty decent profit. I was going to take off 3 or 4 of them, and people were thinking that it was probably going to be the low of the session, the low of the day, so we left it on. We ended up getting stopped out on that because we were never able to get back inside and reaccept the initial balance. So that's one of the things that I would be thinking about in this opportunity here in crude. I wouldn't want to marry this.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about whether time is an element that you could consider, or would you just go, you know what, I'm getting out of here? Because I did see a hard resistance right up there at 92.
Mm.
So
time is certainly always, it's always certainly in everything that I think of, especially when basing things off of the TPO charts. And time is part of the decision. When we left the opening range and opened the next 30-minute bar below that, that is time. That is acceptance of lower price through time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to look for the bounce to get out of here. See if I can give myself a little haircut. Not much. Look
again,
at the
I
ES
hope
and
I'm
the
wrong.
NQ bouncing.
There's nothing that works every time, but probabilities say that this is probably a tough place to be short.
I'm going to flatten that. I like what you're saying, and as far as I see, my tighter time frames are actually confirming that downward draft. So, you know what? $90, not too bad to lose on an oil trade. So, yeah, let's see if I can get a bounce to go short. But I'm glad I got out. Higher. And thank you so much. I love that. What's that?
Now we're pushing higher here in the ES and the NQ.
Yes, look at that.
Selling off in the crude, selling off in gold. Something's going on.
Crude
20,355 last trade. Jay, we got last trade here in the Nasdaq. Buyers did finally step in.
Yep. Yeah, they're just pinging it back and forth between this opening range, 20,013's 20,313 opening range in the Nasdaq. So range bound traders, this is your market right now. Kind of pinging back and forth. What's important is where your stop location is, because we do see, especially in the Nasdaq, we run the extremes of the range by a little bit, and part of the reason I hate range bound trading, because you have to accept more risk, because you don't know what these wicks are going to look like, but then you get stopped out before the move eventually goes in your direction. So I'd be looking at highs of the range, 380 area, to see whether or not we push it or we get another failed move. Like we said, as we get later in the day, the likelihood of breaking out of this range increases, in my opinion. So we can take it, but at some point it does break. Go ahead, Hope.
Last time we were up here in the S&Ps, we saw that big crush come in here. If we can get a short close enough to the high of the regular trading hour session and the high of the opening range, do you like a short there? It would be the second time.
I like a short potentially at 58. We do have the 20 moving average on the 30-minute chart right there at 58, which is the high of that opening range as well. Where would you set the risk on that, Hogue?
I mean, it would have to be, let's say, 3 full points outside of the high of the range here.
Right, 61.
So I mean,
maybe even higher.
At that level, we're risking 4 points if we get it.
Yep.
We did take that little look above the opening range in the Nasdaq that just was rejected very quickly.
If we were going to take a trade in the Nasdaq, in the S&Ps, I would want to give 61 the room to hold. 61 is the low of that jobless claims number.
Okay.
So I would want the stop to be somewhere above that to give that the opportunity to hold. If
what do you think of this, Jay? If we can get on my screen here, look at where the high of the opening range, the high of the session is in the S&Ps. It is a tick below the IB low from yesterday. Now, this is where the market came up to, failed to come back into the IB from yesterday, and this is where the market really started to accelerate to the downside. So it looks like a very interesting level to me in either direction, really.
Yep.
Hey, we're seeing 80% long in YM, 80% long in the YM,
yeah,
70% short in the crude.
Jay?
Hogue, would you want to take it right here, right now, or you want to wait for that 56, 57 area?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at 56 probably would be 55, 56. We just had an opportunity up there relatively close to that, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, gold selling off here. Massive pressure on gold right now. Downside 27.35 last trade. We saw a high of the day 27.56. We're down about $20 off of that. Crude last trade $70.71. Right now we're in the middle. Got nothing really popping. 77% long in the YM. Of Eddie coming in.
You know, you're bringing me in here because one of the things I've been watching in crude is the shorts are dominating, and then props to those in the chat that said, "Hey, crude looks heavy today." They said this earlier. One of the things that's not really making sense is only this was much lower, but right now 41% are in the money, 59% that are in the long, 34% long with 59% in the money. It's sort of really backwards here in crude, so be very careful if you're trading crude here.
Be very careful indeed. Well, I got this watching gold here. Gold pushing lower, pushing lower, pushing lower.
This is what we were hoping for, Anne Marie.
Yeah.
I do want to see what's going on with the 10-year. Every time I see that happen, what's going on with the 10-year?
Also, while we got a second here, just a reminder, we've got a special guest here coming up here in about an hour and a half. Funded trader, yes. And Canada's reality TV star Aaron Ellis is going to be joining us this morning at 11 a.m. Central. Also, Discord. If you're new here and you're not familiar with the Topstep Discord, please check it out. Like what we're doing and want to interact with the Topstep community. This is where our coaches hang out. Right? This is the coaches hangout. So join us on Discord. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and please sign up. All for the better. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, let's go around the markets right now. 20,368. Last trade in the NASDAQ, 58.53. Last trade in the ES. Just kind of chopped around waiting here. We did have new home sales. That's in the rearview mirror. S&P, Service PMI. That's in the rearview mirror. No real Fed speak coming up. We got the top of the hour, about 20 minutes. We have a 5-year auction at noon Central Time. Right now, we got 74% long in the YM. Nothing really cooking right now.
So, Anne Marie, if you're still interested in looking for some sort of a long in crude oil, if we look at the profile, so we opened in range and above value. Value high yesterday, 70.98. Basically, the IB low. We've pretty much moved all the way through the value area from yesterday. TPO value low 70.48. Look just below that. Even
I'm short one in gold.
Okay, I see it.
Now we in. What we got, Jay?
I'm short 27.36 one, and I'm looking for.
We want to take that one, Hogue.
Settlement. I'm not risking a whole lot on this, and I am very late to this trade, guys. We sold off, almost 2% before I'm getting in short, so could be selling in the hole, but I think there's potential room lower.
Short one, 27.36.1. Short one, 27. We can get sixes. We can get sevens right now.
Andre, I can't take it because we've been sitting here looking for opportunities for longs.
Okay.
But I would love to see this trade work for you.
His exit. Yeah, his exit is our
entry. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, short from 27.36.1. Let's trade 27.37.9. All good.
Okay, talk me into shorting this.
I'm not going to, Hogue. I'm not going to.
No, do it. I want to hear.
This is, I saw some volume come in here, looking for a continuation, but again, I'm very late on this trade. So, Hogue, remember yesterday you said you're an innovator? This is me trying to be an innovator, and sometimes innovation fails. So,
yes.
Well, I got to turn some lights on. It got dark here. Hang on.
What happened? Oh, yeah.
Hang on.
Hopefully nobody's trolling you in the chat, wondering why you.
Oh, that's okay. I don't care. I'm gonna move my stops. Okay, where it's at.
Hope it goes your way, dude.
Thanks, Hogue. I'm looking at charts. Going to be honest, and this is just full transparency in trading. Gold, we should have been selling the entire day.
Yeah.
So this may be a little bit of a frustration trade, which happens. Don't love it, but full transparency, right? We've all been trading for a very long time, and sometimes it's
gold trade. Oh man, see this. I think I need 5 more screens. Look at this.
What happened?
Beautiful failed upside auction. Came back in with overnight inventory as long as it was. We should have been looking for that opportunity. Beautiful.
Okay, say that again. Walk through what you just. What you just said.
Here's the IB in gold from this morning. This is the 720 to 721 open because I can do that on this platform. The market looked above the initial balance and rejected that. Is a beautiful failed upside auction, and look where we're trading now. When the overnight inventory was long because Anne-Marie, you and I have been talking about waiting for the overnight inventory to unravel to look for a potential long.
Yep.
Overnight inventory was long all night. Market opened, didn't see continuation, left a failed upside auction. That was enough to take all of those overnight longs, get them nervous to light the fire to the downside. Basically, I mean, the market has taken us back down to 27.35 half, which was last week's high.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
all right. We're pushing
right,
higher.
So I did get in right at your number, John. That 70.39 is where I got wrong.
Okay.
739, 27.39.
Yeah, there's lots of highs and lots of lows there. In essence, Anne-Marie, it is. Look at all these highs.
Hey, Anne-Marie, really quick, when you got, can you go to a one shot of your, just pull up or maximize your screen of gold? You are in the gold trade, if you don't mind.
But this purple.
When I get into the gold trade, right now I'm in the
crude.
Right now I'm in the crude.
Oh,
trade.
crude.
So,
okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
So this is the low of the gap that was created between the 14th and the 15th of October session gap. And it was resistant.
Your screen.
Supportive yesterday.
I don't see your trade. Yeah, I don't see your screen. Let's get your screen up.
There it is. So this purple line, this purple box here is the gap from the 14th of October to the 15th of October. Session gap. We had a hard time getting into it.
Yeah.
When we got into it, the bottom of it became supportive, and then we'd look for a move to the other direction. But you don't want to risk a lot on this.
Oh, hey, we got 1,000 lot here. 58.50, 1,400 offered. 58.50 in the ES, 1,400 offered. Big size in the S&Ps.
Right in the middle of the range. What the heck are they doing?
Sticking out like a sore thumb. Thank you, CA.